A curiosity you might have if you're in the Stratocaster space is whether something like this, a Player Series Strat, might be a better option than a PRS Silversky SE. These have now become neck and neck in terms of the price that they cost. So on the used market, a Mexican Player Series like this, which is pretty much in immaculate condition, you can get for about the same price as a PRS Silversky SE. I have experience in both of these instruments and thought I'd talk to you about some of the pros and some of the cons and which ones I would go for. So just right off the bat, the Silversky is a great sounding and feeling instrument. I had one for 18 months and I really enjoyed it. I'll talk to you. Here's a few of the great features. Proper rosewood neck, nice frets, nice chunky neck. It had great sounding pickups, a great tone, really good for lead playing. Here's some of the things that this Strat kind of does that I would say is probably more advantageous. This is more of a traditional sounding Strat. It sounds exactly how I expect a Strat to sound, and it feels like a Strat. It's got more of a modern C profile neck. It feels like the same as the US models. It's got nice shiny lacquer on the fretboard and on the headstock. And it's got so many classic Fender sounds. This does sound more like a Strat sounds. I would say this is better for rhythm playing than lead playing. Advantages of this instrument are that on the Fender Strat, the quality I would say is slightly better, and I'll tell you why. My PRS had 11 high frets. It needed the frets doing straight out of the box for it to be set up properly. So after a year of me playing, and this might be to do with my DNA and my sweat, but I'd managed to sweat on the guitar quite a lot through playing. There was corrosion all over the bridge saddles. They were rusting, and the corrosion had gone into the electrics, and the cables on the electric jack output had actually corroded through, which I thought was not really that great. It needed regular truss rod adjustments. The Strat is a bit more of a reliable workhorse instrument here, the Fender. Though the bridge is a very similar kind of system, it does have these old school Fender stamped these sort of stamped metal pieces. The whammy bar has a spring in it. It's not just a pop-in. I love a pop-in whammy bar. So the PRS Silversky does have the pop-in whammy bar arm. The electrics and the knobs move and feel much nicer on the Fender, and the switches and things just feel that little bit better. The tuners feel nicer on the Fender. They're Fender stamped, and that headstock is just a beautiful sight. Here's the kicker though, if you get one of these and you expect a rosewood fretboard, it won't be like the Silversky. It will have pale ferro, which isn't a bad wood, but it's not rosewood. I opted for the maple because that's what I was looking for, a maple sound. So if I'm comparing this to a rosewood fretted Silversky, it's kind of a slightly different thing, but this is, at least this is the proper wood that this should have. Let's just have a little listen to this guitar. would I go for? For the money, I feel like this is probably a better investment. This will probably hold on to its money better, but I don't always think of instruments like they're some sort of asset transaction, but it does feel a little bit more premium to me. Now, I appreciate some people have had quality issues with the Mexican Fenders, and it'd be interesting to know in the comments if that's something that's happened to you. I have found that the fretwork on this is absolutely perfect, and I really like the frets on this. They're quite modern in comparison to what you get on the Silversky. If you're after a nice, bold, thick, punchy tone, Silversky might be better for you. But this instrument here is a little bit more flexible. It's got a little bit more dynamic response, is how I interpret this instrument. But really, it's down to the player and what they want. If you want a classic Fender Strat, this is the Stratiest Strat. This is the Stratiest Strat that you could probably get yourself. But if you want something that's a little bit different, a little bit custom feeling, the Silversky might be a good way. The only thing I would say is the build quality. Some of those instruments are outstanding, some of them just aren't. And I think that's something that you might need to find. When mine came brand new, it had screws missing, it had bits missing, it even had the grub screw missing from the trem. I called it the Friday guitar. It was like somebody made it just before they finished work. This instrument, on the other hand, is just sort of perfection, really. Very nicely made, ready to go, just sounds great. I'm not going to do anything to this. I normally modify my guitars, but I really can't think of something that I want to do to this. It's just ready to go. It's just perfect. The only thing I'm going to do with this is change the strings. And there we have it. So what's the best way to go? For me, I like the flexibility of a Stratocaster. If I want a thick sound, things like this are quite good. P90 guitars, Telecasters, PRS, you know, there's lots of options. But if you want a Strat, this is my option, a Strat. I'm never going to take away from the Silversky. I think it's great, but I'd like to know what you think. What would you get, given that you could have both of these guitars? You could have either of these guitars for the same price. It might be that you haven't got a Fender, so that might be the way to go. Or it might be that you've got a whole load of Fenders and you just want a taste of PRS. Maybe that's the time to get the PRS Silversky SE. Let me know in the comments. And remember, these videos are brought to you by people who like and subscribe and comment in the community.